what they think about the company and where things are going and that sort of stuff. You can also look in there and see what acquisitions they made in the 10K and see what acquisitions they made over the last year. Annual reports and 10Ks have four major parts. The first part talks about the business. That's just kind of a general overview of the business. So if you want to see what they, kind of what their mission statement of the business is, you can see there. Then it talks about risk factors. And the risk factors can actually be interesting because they are required to say everything that would be a risk that would be material to an investor in making a decision to invest and not omit to state anything that would be material. Some of those things might be very informing to you. So I always read the risk factors because I think that they will indicate things, threats, opportunities, weaknesses that might exist in that company, which might be opportunities for you. Then the third section is the financial statements. And the interesting thing about looking at publicly available financials is that if you want to kind of get a benchmark of where they are in terms of like, what is the percentage of their payroll to sales? What is their percentage of ad spend to revenue? Those kinds of things. You can do that math and find out those numbers. You can also get that through tools like BizMiner, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then to me, the most interesting section is the MD&A. That's the management discussion and analysis, where management is actually talking about what they think about the company and where things are going and that sort of stuff. You can also look in there and see what acquisitions they made in the 10K and see what acquisitions they made over the last year. So that's another place to look to get ideas of things to buy, things that might be opportunities. But I think the easiest way to find things to buy is to look around the business that you've already got. So if you think you've got your core business, probably the most easy thing to buy is a competitor, right? And so the first place we look is competitors to your core business, but then who's got the eyeballs of the people that are buying your products? Buy the media. If you buy the media, you have an unlimited supply of customers. And we'll talk specifically about the kinds of media that you might think about buying. If you need a team, buy somebody that's already got it. If there's a resource that you need, buy somebody that's already got it. Don't worry about building it yourself. That takes a lot of time and effort. And then the next two are look at who are you paying money to every single month. My business partner, Kent Clothier from Real Estate Worldwide, came in here yesterday and talked about how we go around and buy all kinds of companies that we would otherwise pay, and we buy companies that we send business to. Who is selling you stuff right now, both products and services, and who is selling your customer products and services? Those are very logical types of companies for you to buy. The next would be supply and distribution chain. So this is traditional vertical integration where you go up to your suppliers and manufacturers, or your manufacturers' manufacturers, and then you go, or your component parts manufacturers that send the manufacturers' parts, and then you go down into the distribution chain and buy distribution, whether that's websites or retail stores, it doesn't matter. But consolidate that chain, and then you get bigger and bigger margins, because right now, you've got little chunks of margin that are being made by everybody up and down that chain. Why not consolidate those so you get as much of it as possible? And then last but not least, intellectual property. So what intellectual property can you buy? Patents, copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, customer lists, software, that kind of stuff that will add value to your business, and what kinds of those things are you using now or buying from other people? So this gives you 7 different categories of things, competitors to your core business, plus the 6 around that you can buy as types of businesses. One of our holding companies is called Idea Incubator, and we look at all of these types of things too. So for media, we were looking at our DIY Ready company. So we had DIY Ready, which does do-it-yourself products and information, and we were able to buy DIYprojects.com, which is a much more heavily searched term. So we bought the URL, and then we had built a Facebook group with about 250,000 users, and we wanted to grow that because we know that every Facebook user is worth a certain amount of money to us per month in our business. So we went out and found the Facebook group about DIY projects, and we bought it, And then we went to Facebook and said, now we own 2 of these things. Will you merge these groups together for us? And they said, yeah, happy to. And so now we've got 500,000 people on that group. So that was just going out and buying a Facebook group because it's media that has the people that we want to sell to. Then we said, okay, well, we want to build a software team. So we looked to our vendors, and we were paying monthly to a company called True Conversion for an analytics package. We basically just reached out to everybody that we were doing that with that was software. And so just reaching out like that around all of the things, all of the businesses that you're interacting with right now is the easy way to do that. For us, for our real estate business, we have a real estate SaaS where we help real estate investors get information to contact potential acquisitions, potential houses to buy. So we send a lot of business to mail houses, and one house in particular called Graphic Connections Group, we sent a ton of business to. And so we went to them and we made a pipe wrench offer. So people that you are either sending business to would be one, but people that your clients are buying from, people that you're buying from.